Hello there. Thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, what a Supremes concert poster this is because it's so vintage. It's 1965. That's so awesome. And in fact, it's got two big hit-making machines, if you will, on this concert poster combined into one. I just love it. But as you can see, it's just a beautiful mint condition 14 by 22 inch cardboard window card made by the Murray Poster Printing Company out of New York City. You know, you just don't, I know my posters, and you just don't see many Supremes concert posters from the 60s. Perhaps their management favored, or the Motown stable favored, radio spots or newspaper ads, but especially with the original three gals. That's what's so cool, before Florence Ballard was expelled in 1967 from the group. So you've got the original three. I'll come in and show you the picture here, and as you can see, you've got Diana Ross on the top there, as you know, Flo, or Florence Ballard, to the right, and Mary Wilson in the lower left. And you don't have any, look at that, the Supremes. Plain, simple, none of this Diana Ross or the Supremes with Diana Ross. Just, this is the name, and these are the three gals responsible for 10 #1 pop hits. Just like this. Wow, that's really, and this Robin's Egg Blue I just love. I think it's unusual too. It's another reason I love it. You don't see it very much on posters. So then below the Supremes, as you can see, you've got no slouches at all with the Lovin' Spoonful. Now their second build, because they'd only had one hit so far, and that was Do You Believe in Magic, which was a top 10 hit. All of us baby boomers loved that one. But you know something? They were going places for sure. Their next 6 singles also went into the national top 10 Billboard's charts, including Daydream and the #1 hit Summer in the City. And then the third build act there, which is actually really the backup band, you've got Earl Van Dyke and his orchestra, as you can see. Now, he was a Motown studio musician, a keyboardist, who actually went on not long after this to morph into the house band at Motown Studios, which was known as the Funk Brothers, the legendary Funk Brothers in the late 60s and the 70s. And Earl Van Dyke, just to throw out one example, played piano keyboards on Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine. So then off to the side of the Spoonful there, you've got a very typical early to mid-60s promoter credit there, a K. Lee presentation. The K.A. part is probably from the radio station that co-promoted, and Lee might be, Lee Jones or something, who knows, some local, and they just called it a K. Lee presentation. I just love the innocent old days before, big corporate sponsors got involved and all of that stuff. So, whoops, I should continue with the truck down the poster there. Friday evening, November 12th at 8:30, as you can see. And then just plainly Civic Center Arena. But, which Civic Center Arena? They didn't care. This was printed and distributed locally and then to be thrown away. 50 years later, we're left to try to figure it out. Well, luckily on this concert poster, the last line tells us which Civic Center Arena through a clue. I'll get to that in just a second. And then you can see the fine print here is getting finer, so I'll get in closer. And it says all seats reserved, admission $2.50, and then the prices go up from there, right? $3.50, $4.50? And then they go down from there. Oh man, is this 1965, I'll tell you. Not only $2.50, but $2 and $1.50, including tax. And then it's got a line with something a little bit out of place, maybe in the middle, sort of out of sequence, Carson Attractions in the middle. On either side, you've got tickets on sale, lobby, assembly center. And then, yes, thank goodness, hallelujah, you've got the last line, which is the identifier for this poster, 50 years after the fact. As you can see, it says, sponsored by the new KAKC and Dr. Pepper. And, of course, it's very easy to determine where any radio station is, and KAKC is in and was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then, well, how fine do you want the fine print to get? Way down there in the lower right-hand corner, it does say the Murray Poster Printing Company with the address in New York City. Now, at the time of this concert, the Supremes rocking away, as I said, with a great string of hits, and I Hear a Symphony was in the national top 5 on its way to #1, which was their 6th consecutive #1 pop hit in a span of only 15 months. 15, not even a year and a half, a year and a quarter. 6 #1 pop hit. Just remarkable the way the Motown stable and the gals turned out those hits. Amazing. Mixed into those 6 hits, though, was also a real anomaly. It was Nothing But Heartaches, for some reason, was stumbled on the charts and only reached number 11 this summer. That's crazy. I mean, I love Nothing But Heartaches as much as any of the other hits, and maybe you do too. And so why it only reached number 11, I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with playing ball with the radio stations, and they chose not to on that one. But who knows? That's pure speculation. And then after this concert, what did they do after this? Well, all they had was 8 straight top 10 hits, half of them going to number 1. So this is right in the middle of one of the greatest hit-making streaks in American music history. Absolutely no doubt about it. So just a real, and so it's so nice to have this poster and in such great condition and everything. Just a real gem. Okay, I'm dropping in this insert shot because since I shot that first video, a second example of this Supremes tour blank came my way, not the poster itself, but a photo of it, and I thought this is too cool to not stick into the video. So here we have it, the same Supremes concert poster, but from 2 calendar years later. Isn't that interesting? This is from 1967, and the Tulsa one is from 65, so that's really interesting. Although it sounds like 2 years, it's really just a 15-month difference, because this is very early in 67 February, and the Tulsa one was quite late in 65 November. But look at this. This is just fascinating. You have the tour blank, and of course, instead of being white, this one was quite exposed to the sun or fluorescent lights because it is so beige now. But it was printed white, just like the other one. We call this toning in the hobby, also known as, sort of sunburning or whatever, but that's what all this brown is. So basically, remember, on this tour blank, you had just the blue printed, the robin's egg blue printed on the white background, and then only 2 other things printed in black, and that would be the Supremes picture, and then way down at the bottom, the Murray Poster Printing Company credit down there in the lower right. Otherwise, everything else was dropped in here by the Raleigh promoter. And it is pretty much the local promoters who make these decisions, what go on their posters. Maybe a couple things, decisions are made by the national office or the Supremes management, but you can see this is really extremely locally driven. Now, for example, you have no opening acts. Isn't that interesting? Just "and their stage show" in rather prominent type. And then the 2 little blue boxes there on either side, where the Lovin Spoonful was in Tulsa, you have instead ticket information, including prices and all the locations on which you could buy tickets. And then in that blue stripe down there, the promoter chose to just leave all his options open and just put "plus other outstanding acts." About as generic as you can possibly be, but whatever. I'm sure it was a fun concert, but those guys didn't have any posters to take home for their grandkids. And then under that, in smaller print, the outstanding acts thing, you have W. Kicks, Men of Music, MCs. Of course, that was very common in the mid-60s. The top 40 radio station, they could have even co-promoted the show. And their disc jockeys showed up, and it's good promotion for the station, and getting the audience all worked up and everything was all very typical. Okay, and then you have the information, I should say venue information below the blue stripe. You've got the famous Dorton Arena. Very oddly shaped, fun place that hosted all kinds of concerts in the 60s. I've shown pictures of it even before on some other video blogs. And then NC State Fairgrounds in Raleigh, NC for North Carolina. And then finally the bottom line, giving the date without the year necessary, although I wonder, this could this have been posted in late 66, December of 66? I don't know. It's probably printed in January, though, and posted starting in January. Sunday, February 5th at 8 p.m., and of course the unprinted year there, as I said, is 1967. So really fun to find a second example of this Supremes tour blank. Again, we know now it was used for at least 15 months, and wasn't used too much longer after this, though, in early 67, because this summer of 67, they would officially become Diana Ross and the Supremes. So, I hope you enjoyed seeing this Supreme poster in 2 different ways, and it's great fun showing it to you. Thanks a lot for coming by, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.